journey all along.
That
Yeah.
is amazing. And is there any of them that might pursue the same road, the same path, or maybe not?
We'll see. We'll
We'll
see.
see.
It doesn't look
So
like
far,
it.
no. So far, no. But you never know. They might.
You never know. Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Okay, let's talk about the exciting part here. It's about the wine, about the juice in the bottle. So, Fred, before we touch base, we talk about what's in the bottle. Okay, I would like to know, let's talk about your philosophy. Because when you work for a brand,
Hmm.
you often have a spreadsheet and say, okay, we need to do that. That's where we're going after. Fred, there is your framework,
Right.
and let's make it happen. That's the winemaker job.
Exactly.
Now, now it's completely different. You have the free reign. You're the artist. You have blank canvas, and you go with your own feeling and with your emotions. So tell me a little bit about why, when you crafted your first four labels, what really drives you?
Well, what I really wanted to explore was um, the idea of making concept wines. So wines based on an idea, right? So instead of being true to a varietal and trying to express a varietal or 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 uh,
Roar.
or a terroir, exploring terroir, right? Uh, I wanted to kind of evoke or try to evoke a feeling with the wine and explore that relationship between uh, what we perceive and what is being perceived, right? So, uh, and that's what's behind the naming system, right? Exactly. So the wild side. What is
I
it?
get, yeah, you get me going. You get me going.
So the wild side is about a lot of things. It's about a wild ferment, right? It's about an unorthodox blend, right? It's a wild blend, uh,
Absolutely.
right? So what does it say it pairs well with on the back label?
Let's see that here. Okay. Unleash your spirit, embrace life on the edge on the edge. Blaze new trails to untamed adventures. Welcome to the wild. Paired exquisitely with moonlight, escapade, and bold conversation. I like the bold conversation.
Right.
I
Yeah.
like that. I
Yeah.
like that.
So I mean, that pairs well with what we're doing now.
Absolutely. You don't always have to be right to be part of the conversation. And that's also another thing because, like, often botrytis, it's not something that people will see as a benefit. People will see as a disease. People will see it as an enemy of grape growing. You have embraced the fact that you found some it's gold, it's liquid gold right there. And so you found a very exclusive little batch of Riesling, botrytis affected, and you absolutely embrace that moment.
That's right. That's right. And that's also what's behind the wild ferment, right? Because I wanted to be express that botrytis affected. I didn't want to influence it with selected yeasts, right? I just wanted to let it become what it was intended to become.
And such a rich texture. I mean, that's what I'm looking for. When I knew the story, I wanted to see how the texture will be delivered, and it's so beautiful and it's sensual. And there's a feeling of sensuality in that wine. And like you bring the Viognier and the brightness of the Sauvignon Blanc, it just give you a very unique wine. So yeah, well done. And such a small batch. I mean, we're talking about just over 100 cases, right?
Yeah, exactly. 107 cases. Very
So yeah, so 91 points, Carl's Wine Club. I really enjoy that, and to me, that wine is about texture and sensuality, and yeah, that's very it's something, and also about food pairing. There's so much you can do with that wine.
Oh, for sure, for sure. There's some richness to it that lends itself quite well to, you know, spicy Thai food, for example.
Yeah.
Right? You know,
Nepalese food.
and Nepalese food.
There you go. There you go.
Oh, see,
Why not? That's too bad. I live in Summerland. There's no Nepalese restaurant anywhere nearby. But
Do you know where there is?
We might send you some, Carl.
yeah.
We have to do a shout out to the Himalayan in North Bay, Ontario, and they're actually carrying this wine, and it's pairing exquisitely with their food. And Nepalese food is kind of a fusion between East Indian and Chinese. It's really cool. And,
Really cool.
you know,
I mean, and this with sushi. I mean, we had when I popped the bottle first time, we had a sushi tray, and this is just the absolute perfect pairing with that. And yeah, like you mentioned, spicy Thai food, Nepalese food, but also do not forget, like a nice Sunday afternoon on the patio. This has the bright acidity to sustain a whole. Like, I mean, this is not just textural. There's a vibrancy of that too.
Very true. Yeah, because
So
it's primarily Riesling, right? It's 85% Riesling. That's where that
natural acidity, right?
exactly.
Yeah. No, an absolute beauty. Just in terms of texture, that's worth the approach. That's worth the purchase. So let's move on to the bright side. Now we're working with mostly this is a single varietal. We are on Gamay. So speaking about Gamay, we have two options here: the sparkling Gamay with the primrose side, and we have the bright side. Let's start with the wine has been named, I think, after your grandma. Is it correct?
That's correct. My grandma's name was Rose. So Primrose is the first rose. So this was the first rose in my life. And this is like her personality, very light and bubbly and just a lot of fun. Yeah.
So you're on Charmat method here with the Primrose. The whole goal when you made that wine was to keep it fresh, keep it bright, keep it approachable, right?
Exactly. When I actually developed this wine for DiProfio wines, which was also sparkling Gamay Rosé, we called it Sparkling Rosie, also after my grandmother. That was my dad's naming.
There you go. And you go, so you carry it over.
Yeah, exactly. So when I first did it, when I was doing sort of my prototyping, I actually did it traditional method. Right, because I didn't have access to any Charmat vessels. So all of this the second ferment was done in the bottle, traditional method, but I didn't leave it in long enough to call it traditional because I didn't want that yeasty characteristic. So I think I the first batch that I did, I think I disgorged about 4 months and on the lees. So, and even that to me, it was, you know what, it became a little too biscuity. I didn't want to move in that direction. So that's why I went to the Charmat.
Okay.
So that we can minimize that
and express just the purity of the fruit and the freshness of it, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. Hey, we have Mike, the average wine enthusiast here. We said that he had a DiProfio Zentastic the other night.
Yes, that was also my father's naming.
Hey,
I
and this one did not carry on to the next portfolio, eh?
no. Although who knows? It might make a comeback. You never know.
I'll call it the backside. Mike, thanks, Mike, for joining us. Great to have you on. We're seeing here, I guess, like Mira, absolutely figuring out the little technical kink. We see the boat Facebook page with action on it. I really like. Okay, there's some action here. So welcome everyone. For people who are just tuning in, I'm with Fred and Margarita DiProfio from Fred Wines in Niagara. So great pleasure to have you both. And Margarita, before we, I want to know a little bit about the branding side of it. Were you involved into the either more on the naming of the wine? Were you involved into the design of the wine as well? Where did you play your role in there?
Oh my God, our light went off.
Uh-huh.
Can you check that out?
Yeah.
I kind of been involved a little bit with everything without deciding really myself on anything. So we had an idea of what we wanted with the labels. We got Emily, Emily. We got Emily to help us with that.
That's Emily's heart right there.
Exactly, she's great. So yeah, we got Emily to help us with that. The naming Fred started it with the bright side. That was very clear. He had that one thing on, and then the other ones we kind of worked together on those.
Okay.
And yeah.
And I hope that you guys are okay with that. In a few minutes, we're going to reveal the new one, the one that you've been working on, and the one that I am so excited about. So
I just want to say, Margarita is involved with way more than just the branding, and forever since I've been making wine professionally, she has been involved with indeed the blending. Because I bring my work home with me in little jars.
And
then we'll sit at the kitchen table and do the blending. So she's my blind taster.
There you go.
I'm not that intimidated anymore, but like years ago, I was like, oh my God, am I going to say the wrong thing? Am I going to insult him? Now I'm fine with it.
You know what? I think that Mira can relate to that as well. I think that she can relate to that. But I mean, it's incredible with the progression that I've seen in Mira's taste over the years. It's incredible the progress that she's made. But you know what? I think people relate to her opinion much more than the expert, because the mass, the people, the purchaser, the people who love your wines are mostly the people like Mira, right? Like, it's not about the 91. Exactly. So you guys are the voice of the mass, of the public opinion. And if we ignore that, for Fred and I mean, we're making a tremendous mistake to not paying attention of what you guys are thinking.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, that's always a risk for a winemaker. We got to keep in mind we're not necessarily making wine for our palates, right?
No.
We have to be consumer focused for sure.
Yep.
Right. So I always look for as many opinions as I can.
Mm-hmm.
I taste with the tasting room staff before I finalize blends. I taste with my wife. I taste now with my kids. Just get as many different perspectives as possible, right? And it's so important.
And when you talk about, okay, that was the first one you have nailed down. That was bright side. I mean, 100% Gamay. This is from the Vinemount Ridge appellation where you got the fruits for the bright side.
No, the Primrose is from Vine Mount.
Okay, different source.
Different
Okay.
source. Vine Mount is sort of up on the escarpment. It's a bit of a shorter season. I use that for the sparkling because I want a little bit more acidity and
Okay.
right. Yeah.
So now with the
fruitiness.
bright side, you're on the 2020 vintage.
Exactly.
So fruits from Niagara on the Lake.
Some from Niagara on the Lake, some from like West St. Catharines.
Okay.
So kind of sourced from all over.
Okay, and obviously from source that you've been dealing with over the years with different other project, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
That's a great advantage that Fred has because he's been working for so long with so many different growers, and he knows what grows where and what he can use for his different blends and projects, which is I think is a great advantage.
Absolutely. I mean, it's a world of relationship that we live in, right? Especially when you wear the hat of a winemaker and a wine creator, it's all about relationship. You trust the people that you're working with. You know they're going to do their job in the vineyard, and you know that the fruits you receive at the end of the year, it's absolutely a beautiful snapshot of the vintage.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, very important. So important to have that trust.
Absolutely. So
yeah.
And the bright side. So explain a little bit. So is it? Do you have any full clustered press in that? How did you make the wine?
Yeah, a little bit whole clustered just to get that almost that carbonic.
Yeah, exactly. Right, to get it going. Yeah.
Elevate that fruit forwardness. It was aged partially in oak, but very, very neutral.
Okay.
Very, very neutral. I didn't want the oak to be the determining factor. So I really wanted the fruit to shine through. Even though it's 2020, there's still a bright acidity to it, which again elevates that freshness, that fruit forward character, and I have to say again back to the concept because I'm trying to steer away from the varietal. I love Gamay. I love how versatile it is. But you know the next iteration of this is actually almost half Limburger.
Huh.
Blaufränkisch.
Okay.
Yeah, with a little bit of Malbec. And the thing they have in common is relatively mild tannins, a little bit more acidity, it's brighter.
Crunchy, right? That's that's how I described it. The mid palate with this wine is crunchy. Yeah. Red fruit, blue fruit, and like you mentioned, there's no oak who gets in the way at all. But you have preserved that little clove spice at the end that I often detect into Gamay, and I think might be from the carbonic also. There's a nice texture though.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. For sure. Very, very interesting. This is crunch. Like you can crush a bottle of that. I love it.
It's
very
great,
approachable.
It's a great red for summer, right? You chill it a little bit, have it on the patio as you're barbecuing. Pairs with
everything. It's super versatile.
Yeah.
If there's anything I'll describe this wine is as versatile.
Yeah, this is a rock star at the dinner table. I mean, you can put this in front everything. Pasta with meat, please bring it in. Pasta with rosé sauce, bring it in. Pizza, burger, bring it in. And that can sustain a piece of meat as well.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
Absolutely. Yeah. So I really enjoyed that. I thought that was a really welcoming welcoming note to the bolder aspect of what you're delivering with the dark side. I mean, there's a ton of Meritage out there. There's a ton of Bordeaux blend. This has a je ne sais quoi to what it has. There's a generous proportion of Malbec that I feel it in there. I can taste the Malbec in it.
Mhm.
Uh, I mean, there's the richness of the Cap Franc. There's that graphite and that charcoal minerality from the Cab Sauv as well, who bring a linear and directional approach to the wine that to me really speak from the 2019 vintage.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not the bold 2020,
Oh,
but there's ripeness. Like the fruit were ripe, beautiful, but that's that directional approach of the 2019 that I really enjoy.
yeah. Yeah. I was really focusing on the texture of that wine. Like you said, it's not bold. It's not a big, huge Bordeaux blend, but it's got an elegance and a subtlety to the tannins. Uh, and that's really what I was looking for. It just says that smooth, velvety texture, right?
Yeah, and that there's that little bit of a left bank Bordeaux in that. Like when I mean, it's 13.5 in alcohol. I'm not a fan of that big, that big alcohol level, and they really, really resonate to me with that little kind of almost like Saint Estèphe style of Bordeaux, more directional minerality. I love that pencil lead graphite part that really, really speak to my expectations. So I like that. In terms of fruit source here, are you a little bit all over the peninsula? Or do you have very specific source for this?
Well, it's all Niagara on the lake. So but it's spread between 4 Mile Creek. There's a lot of 4 Mile Creek where Bellaterra is. Indeed, there's a lot of Bellaterra vineyards in there. There's also St. David's Bench.
Okay.
Yeah. So for a big part of the Cab Franc component. Yeah. So,
When
and
we looked at
Malbec is
the
all Bellaterra vineyards. The
oh,
Malbec is all from Bellaterra vineyards. Yeah.
okay. Okay, and these are kind of like they're older vines at Bellaterra when we talk about the Malbec there, right?
Yeah, yeah, they're getting up there well over 10 years. Yeah.
Yeah. When I mentioned on the bright side the little clove component at the end, here you're more on the black crack or the cracked black pepper, right? It's a little bit more on the peppery side at the end, but the tannin. This wine will age, and it's just starting. I mean, this wine can age for a while, to my
I would,
opinion.
yeah, I would agree with you. Yeah.
Yeah. And what's the future of you just hinted a little bit about the bright side with the new iteration, maybe Lamberger, Malbec. How about the bright side? How about the dark side? Is there anything that you're planning? Is
Uh,
the plan as to stay around the Bordeaux blend, or there's no plan at
uh,
all?
well, yes, for the dark side, I think I'll keep it around the Bordeaux varietals, very focused on that. Something blends that I'm very comfortable making. I've been doing it for a long time. Yeah, I love working with Cabernet Sauvignon, always have. So that's always going to be a part of the dark side. Yeah, for sure.
Okay. Here now, let's move on to what I really wanted to talk about. I don't know if Mira's on right now, or Mira, if you're on, I would like you to pop your nose here in the interview. There you go. Here you
I'm
are.
back. I'm back. I did the Heimlich maneuver about 20 times on all our feeds earlier. Sorry about that, you guys. Yes, tell me.
You're
I love
breathing
doing
again?
that, you guys.
You're a magician. You are a magician.
Yeah.
Oh my God, you're so good.
That's never happened actually in that way. That's pretty crazy. But anyway.
I want to know. So, Mira, do you have the label of the new wine that we're gonna start talking about in a second?
Yes. Well, you know what? It's kind of fun. You guys got a lot of great input from your community at Fred Wines on what to name this wine. But before anyone had even gotten wind of it, we were sent this mysterious bottle in the mail. And see, it says bottle December 7th, 2023. Open for discussion with Carl and Mira. And then you sent us another one. So we opened that one a couple weeks ago to do our tasting notes on it.
Right.
Well, we still have this one. We'll see when we open this one. But yeah.
I think this one with the green tape, Fred. This one, the one.
That's my classic label.
I think if I let Fred, that's how we'll actually label it. But it's not happening.
To be honest, to me, I don't want to open it because it means so much to me, and I love the green tape. And I told Mira, unless I really have to open that bottle, I want to keep it because now I know how good that wine is. I know that this wine can age for at least another 8 years, no problem. So we'll talk about the Bolero Reserve. The 2020 vintage. It's a very, very special wine that you have crafted. And there you go. This is the label that we're talking about. I love the label, but more than anything, I freaking love the juice in the bottle. I'm a sucker for a blend with Syrah in it. I think Syrah can bring so much to a blend. And this wine hit every chord. When you're talking about my personal preference, you absolutely hit it on the nose in every aspect. It's rich, it's bold, but freshness as well. This is not bold and heavy. It's bold and fresh. It's muscular, but there's an elegance to it. And this has everything. There's length. It's layered. So the blend is, Mira, do we have that obscure picture?
I'll put the tasting notes link in the comments. But the blend is,
I think we're 35% Syrah, and after that it goes
Syrah, 25 Cab Franc, 25 Merlot, and 16 Malbec.
There you go.
And I have to say, it was a wow wine. Like we were saying the other day, we're on a roll because just a couple weeks ago we tasted a 90, was it 95, right, Carl?
Well, Fred was there. Fred was there when we went to see our old friend Sal D'Angelo. And Sal came back from his barrel room with a fortified Tempranillo. We were together the first time we tasted that wine, and now he put it in bottle. He won double gold best of show at the All Canadian with that bottle. I give it, incredible wine. Talking about bold and fresh, that's exactly what he created with that fortified Tempranillo. So, and right after,
because that was a 95 point wine, which only happens like a handful of times a year. And I have to say 94 points, it's right up there. That's the rock star level. That only happens a handful of times a year. So we had a 94 point with the Bolero. That is crazy, crazy good wine.
Absolutely, Fred. And I mean, at that price, cheers to that. I mean, you guys, you're not the new kids on the block. You're not the new guys on the block. I mean, you know what you're doing. But for the first release of your own personal brand, I mean, to start it with such an incredible wine, Fred, it's amazing. I want to go behind the curtain, behind behind the scene of that creation of that wine. First, I have to ask, where the fuck did you got Syrah? And so
That's a secret.
I tried offline, I tried online, I tried everything. He's not gonna answer, so fine. It's a secret. Nice, but I mean,
Suffice to say, it's not Niagara.
okay. Okay.
It's
Thank
Niagara.
you. Did you had a very specific idea in mind when you crafted that wine? Were you going for something, or it came part like by part? So tell me a little bit more about it.
Yeah, so there are 4 varietals, but it's definitely not a Bordeaux blend. 3 of the varietals are Bordeaux. I vinified them all separately, aged them separately. I kind of had an idea that I wanted to do something unorthodox. Syrah is a Rhone variety. It's the main red variety in the Rhone Valley, and often blended with Viognier and Marsanne and Roussanne. So I didn't want to be traditional, but it was 2020. So I knew if there's a year we can pull off a late red like Syrah, it's this year, right? So I went looking and I found some, and I just knew that this was going to fit in well with my Bordeaux reds. As I'm making it, as I'm doing the punch downs and macerating those skins and getting those aromas off the ferment, and all of the ferments, all of the Cab Franc and the Merlot and the Malbec, the proportions weren't planned, but I knew I was going to put some of these together, right? I just knew they were going to fit. But it was in barrel for
3 years.
No, well, almost
At least 24 months.
2.5 years.
So 30 months in barrel, right?
Yeah.
Well, so when you're wondering where the richness of that wine comes from, that's part of it.
Oh,
and it's also homage at an incredible vintage that allowed you to bring your idea to a level where it was allowed to, right?
Yeah. And so the naming that came after. I didn't have the concept first exactly. It was sort of an unformed idea. The naming came much later, and after much seeking with our customers, we had a little contest to name it, and Bolero just kind of it just fit, and the Bolero is a musical style and a dance from Spain, which none of these varieties are Spanish. So again, we're unorthodox here, but it was a French composition by Maurice Ravel, which if you played it, people would immediately recognize it. But it is associated with sensuality and passion, right? So
And it's also starts slow and builds up, which is like this wine. It builds up. It finishes like big. And
did it grow on you, Carl?
Absolutely.
And we did our thing where we tasted it over multiple nights, and it just kept getting better and better, which tells us it's going to get better with age. It's got lots of life in it.
And let me tell you how the score came about, because the first night we were so ecstatic. It was so amazing. And I told Mira, I don't want to rate it right now. I want to wait and taste it again tomorrow. So I had no score. I started to put some notes down. And the morning after, I really like to revisit first thing in the morning. My taste buds are so fresh and super.
Before he's brushed his teeth, you know,
Of course, yeah.
before the
Of
coffee.
course. So,
Toothpaste is appearing.
and so I tasted it again, and I'm like, holy shit, this is a minimum of 93 points. And we kept going, and the third or fourth day, I said, Mira, fuck that. This is a 94 points, and this is going to go on my top 10 wine of the year list. I mean, this is just too good. There's a uniqueness in the blend, but it's not weird. It's not, there's nothing goes off script. Everything comes together. And Margarita mentioned it. It's a build up to the mid palate where things just got like, you feel like, oh, it just all comes together. And it keeps like with the tannins, it's gripping you, the spice explode at the end. It's really a build up to an incredible experience.
Well, and now that you mention experiences, that's exactly what we've been wanting all along. We want the wine to be a part of experience, that people associate Fred wines with a fun time, a good experience, good friends, good food, good music, and good wine.
I mean, and this wine is not available just yet. This wine will be shipped in a couple months to the people who are going for it this week. And you guys are giving our members a pre-release discount. And I mean, $45 for a wine of that quality. It's incredible. Absolutely amazing. I am so thrilled that our members could get their hands on that wine. You have what, Fred? Just around 200 cases of that?
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it's unique and it's fantastic. So 94 points. Thank you for sharing that with us. Thank you for sharing the concept from early on. We feel privileged. We're grateful to have you around us, guys, and thanks for partnering with us this week. It's a real privilege to feature your wine. Thank you.
Oh, the pleasure is all ours.
Yeah,
thank you,
thank
Carl.
you for having us and sharing with your club members.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. And we'll see you guys real soon. We might see you, August 30th or 31st? Yeah. Actually, the 31st, we will be at Bellaterra, most likely with you, Fred.
Yes, of course.
Blending some white wine with you.
Yeah.
Right?
Awesome. It's going to be
with
great.
Members.
And I'm hearing that some of our members wants to pick up their Fred order that day as well. So we might keep you busy.
Absolutely.
We'll have it ready.
We like to be busy.
That's fantastic. Well, we can't wait to see you both. And Juan says Fred is the best. I totally agree. And Margarita too. So thank you guys so much.
Yeah.
That's great. Well, have a wonderful evening. I know it's late where you are. So thanks for staying up with us. I'm going to blind taste Carl rapid fire on 2 wines. And then we'll all head off to whatever we were up to this evening. But thanks so much, you guys. It's been great to get to know you a little more.
Cheers.
Thank you so much. Thank you. I appreciate you both. Okay, we'll see you in a couple of weeks.
See you soon.
Take care.
Oh, that's so fun. You know what? We didn't mention this before, but one of the first times we hang out with both Fred and Margarita was about 2 summers ago when we were in Niagara. And look at this. They took us on their sailboat. They're such generous people. It's amazing.
Oh yeah, I mean, it was an incredible day on Lake Ontario. I have cleared. It was so much fun, and I mean, it's just the beginning of an amazing relationship, and just to have the privilege to go through these wines, and I'm going from the Primrose, which been a great light sparkling wine with so much flavors, to that rich Riesling botrytis affected, who is like literally literally like so suave and so well made. And the three reds that we have culminating with the Bolero. I mean, this is a yeah, and I've been
Very
so
cool.
the dark side that's in my glass right now. The dark side has been open for 6-7 days. Okay, and I forgot to pump the bottle for at least 36-hour period of time, and this wine is still rocking. It's a 2019 really focused red Bordeaux blend. And more and more I enjoy that wine. This is really, really cool. And the Bolero, you need to get a Bolero or two in your wine collection or in your wine.
So,
and
not only is it 94 points, which to us is a rock star wine, a wow wine. Like literally, we taste over 1,200 Canadian.
There's less than, I rated less than 15 wine 94 or better this year so far. And we are in the middle of August.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
there's less than 15
very,
94
very rare.
points.
But what's even better, you guys, and it won't last long because it's the price point. So they're giving us this pre-release deal essentially at $45 including tax. That is unheard of. Like especially for those of you that are on the West Coast, to have a red of this quality at $45 including tax, it's really fantastic and really worthwhile to get yourself as many as you can for your cellar, for immediate enjoyment, to see over the years how it ages. We just love this wine. Such a bright future ahead. Hey, Carl Boucher, I just brought you up 2 glasses. So if you've stuck with us this long, stay a few more minutes because I am blind tasting Carl on 2 wines, rapid fire.
So I'm one of one so far. I have
the first wine was an introduction to Fred who is also the winemaker at Bellaterra. He made this amazing Viognier. We are so familiar with Fred's wines through Pondview Bellaterra. And he's done amazing things there. And so that's why we're so excited to feature his personal brand with his personality shining through. Carl guessed that one. And it was a bit of a cheating one because he tasted that one recently. So
very recently. I mean 2 days ago. So
pretty hard to fool him. But we love that one.
Yeah, I mean.
So now you got 2 reds. Let's go rapid fire. Number 2, the one that says number 2 on it. Tell me about that one.
At first, I would say it's an hybrid.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, to check. There might be like maybe a no, I don't think so.
No?
I don't think so. But I know what you mean. There's a bit of a tang to it.
Yeah, very light tannin, dark in color, crunchy mid palate. There's like a minty as well. There's a rich palate though, very rich palate.
Now, does not do it justice for either of these wines, but I just literally opened them 20 minutes ago. Popped an Enovino in to aerate them a bit. So I would retaste them again in an hour or 2. But if you had to score it right now, Carl, what would you give it? And any other insights?
There's a very fresh finish, like almost like minty eucalyptus. And it pops and it lingers for a little while. Second sip, I had a little bit more fruits on the, and it feels like there's sediment in it too.
I don't have that. Maybe I screwed up your pour.
That's okay. Very long finish. Very, very long finish. I'm intrigued with the price. Is it a wine at $40?
Yes, it's $39.95, but including tax.
Okay. Yeah. It's a $40 wine. So, I would give that wine. It's very intriguing. It's very intriguing. I believe that there's a nice fleshy fruits, bramble fruit, blue fruits at the beginning. So I would say 90 points, 90
Set your
plus.
expectations.
Yeah, no, definitely. That $40 wine meets my expectation. There's great texture, and you know me. If I go to a premium price, you better provide me with great texture. I don't go high on a lean wine at that price. So I enjoy that. It definitely meets my expectation and plus.
All right.
It's
So do you
just
want to know what it
really
was?
intriguing. It's very different. Yeah, I
Are you
would
guys
love to.
ready? Well, first tell me, do you think it's Ontario or BC?
It's Ontario.
Yeah, the including tax might have
That's
been
it. You sold it on that. You sold it on that.
Sprucewood Shores, Ontario's only beachfront winery.
Huh. Okay.
Yeah.
So it's been 2 weeks back to back that I have a hard time with Merlot. Yeah, Daryl, you need to be my partner. I'm telling you, man.
Daryl's very good at this, just hearing the descriptions.
Yeah.
Spruce
I mean, it's really cool.
What
It's
is one
really
Merlot?
cool. I can't wait to get back to this wine and taste a little bit more. I really can't wait. What do you think of it, Mira? Did you try it?
I did. Yeah. Super interesting. It's a totally different profile, I think, than what we're used to in BC Merlot,
Oh, absolutely.
but it's very enjoyable. So that's awesome. So
And
now,
which vintage was it? Is it the 20?
2020.
Yeah. So okay. So that's why that richness and what's the percentage of alcohol? Are you at 14.2 or
You're at 14.0.
14.0? Okay. Yeah. No, it's fairly well balanced. But it's an appellation, Essex County, right? So that's an appellation that we're not used to. There's there's not the grip that I was expecting. But yeah, I mean, intriguing, interesting, worth the price, worth the crack, worth the taste, worth to talk about. I have no issue with that wine. And that's the whole concept of what we're doing in this very specific exercise. It's to have me to score up a wine without have the which word am I looking for? The preconceived notion of what it is, right? Oh, I know Riverstone makes some good wines. I'm gonna score it higher, or whatever, right? So I want to take all of that out of the equation and just score purely what's in my glass. So
yeah, and it's interesting with you and the Merlot, because Merlot, I have to say, is one of my favorite varietals. And maybe it's just one of those that throws you for a little bit of a loop once in a while.
Yeah, no, definitely. I mean, and I have one Merlot at the very top of my top 10 wine this year, and it's the Ferox 2020 Merlot. Yeah. Oh, it's still to this date, I think it's one of the highest. It's 95 plus or 96 points that I rated that in January, and it's still one of my very top wine of the year.
Merlot. And for those of you joining us in Niagara on August 30th and 31st, on the 31st, we're visiting Ferox for lunch. We're going to be at Bellaterra and Fred Wines, visiting Fred DiProfio on the 31st in the afternoon. But at Ferox for lunch, and I think we're going to taste more of their Merlot, aren't we? Like 4 Merlots?
No, we're gonna focus more on the Rieslings. We're gonna do a vertical of Rieslings plus a bag vintage and a barrel tasting. Merlot, we're gonna retaste the 2020 plus what's in barrel. Right now. So nice. I think there's gonna be 2 or 3 Merlots. Obviously, every special request might be acknowledged that day. All right. Okay.
Quick one. Last one.
Quick. This is, well, I look at the color first and foremost. This is the older wine. This wine has ages in there. I can see from the color. There's the brick
on the rim. That's this gorgeous
brick, like brown brickle.
Yeah.
So that tells me right away that that wine has age. So I would go, and from what I'm smelling, there's a bit of oxidation at least 2015. We are close to a decade old wine. Okay, that's my guess right out of the bat. On the nose, though, I haven't tested. I'm just seeing the legs. This is super rich. Okay, it's not fortified. Definitely, it's a still wine. Uber rich, uber dark. Like this is a kind of grape who's super inky. So I'm gonna take out. It's not a Cap Franc. That's not Pinot. It's not Gamay. It's not. So now we're talking about a super inky, dark type of grape. Okay, and it's nothing about the nose. Nothing. It's just about the eyesight. Okay. It's perfume. It's floral on the nose. It's smoky. There's another little bit of iodine. And there's herbaceousness, like dry herbs. And in terms of fruits, I'm looking more of like fig. This is definitely a older wine. Like that, there's no doubt. Blackcurrant, blackberry.
And you haven't tasted it yet. Here he goes. He's tasting it. Because Mike has a very good guess, so we won't tell Carl what that guess is yet.
Are still tannin. So now it narrows down all of the possibility to Cap Sauv. Geez, it is really fucking cool. This one is really, really, really cool. You don't taste that quiet often, I'll tell you one thing. This is something that you don't, wow. Holy shit. There's a weight in that wine, but there's still some freshness. I mean, I know what's in my cellar, and the only thing I can see who has that description. And Mike, you're bang on the nose with Petit Verdot. I mean, I would have nailed down without knowing we have what 400 bottles here, which rotate weekly basis. But I know that I have a bottle of Riverstone 2013 Petit Verdot in the cellar. If you crack that bottle, I might be a little mad, but tasting it, I'm super happy. This is really cool.
Someone has to taste it. I mean, you can't leave it there.
But without knowing what's in there, I would say this is a 92 plus wine. You can get that anywhere. There's length, there's weight, there's freshness, there's tannin, there's a shitload of complexity. I would say that's probably the 2013 Riverstone Petit Verdot.
There you go.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
you nailed it. I guess I'm gonna have to start sourcing and doing some things with the wines, because Carl is like a freaking encyclopedia when it comes to what's in his little collection over there. Even though it's constantly changing, he knows every single wine and where it is. So Carl wins a cookie. I think so. Yeah. Good job.
Yeah, this is really cool. This is a super cool wine. And the tannin are still there, right? Man, there's much more to come with that wine.
It aged pretty spectacularly. It says, okay, so 2013 Petit Verdot, VQA, Okanagan Valley. In 2013, a very limited amount was left when the final blends were completed. We aged the remaining amount in neutral French oak barrels and was bottled for a very select few. 11 cases produced.
What?
11 cases produced. Maybe I shouldn't have opened it right now. Whoops. I hope you wanted to open that soon, because I did. And 14.8 alcohol.
Okay. You know, that's the gift.
Lorna's tuning in. Lorna, you should stop by. You should taste this wine, preferably soon, because I don't know how long it lasts if it's 11 years old. But
that is crazy. That's the gift that Ted King gave us when we named them the winery of the year. He said, "Carl, I want to thank you for everything you're doing for us." And there is a bottle of. Hey, don't put the cork back on, okay?
Oh, no?
No, fuck no, stop it.
That might help, like save it maybe for a few days.
Yeah, well, we have the rubber one that we're gonna pump it.
Yeah.
So,
no, Lorna, we're here till Saturday morning. So I was gonna blind taste you on this, but this might be something for next Wednesday, because this is a wine made in West Kelowna, BC. Okay, but it is with grapes from the Columbia Valley, Frenchman Hills in Washington State, where we will be next Wednesday for Wine Wednesday. We will probably be at or near Pike Place Market, where they have a Wines of Washington tasting room with multiple wineries, local wineries, having wines and flights of wines from local wineries. So I thought it might be kind of fun maybe to bring that down with us, so I didn't taste you on that one. But
so Daryl, my plan was to bring that bottle to Ontario. So
okay.
So
well, I mean, you got to put some parameters that you could take some of the wines you don't want me to blind taste you with every week and put them.
My love, it's all good. I'm super appreciative to have that in my glass tonight. We're gonna geek out on that wine together all night. And I mean, this is absolutely fantastic. This is really, really cool.
I think I'm gonna make my braised short ribs tomorrow to have with that. Don't you have two more? There were only 11 cases made, so I don't think we do. But we gotta say, hey, if you are in BC or near BC on September 21st, Ted Kane is going to take us down to the cellar for the BC Winery of the Year celebration. So if you get the VIP ticket for September 21st, we'll hang out with Ted Kane in the cellar. He might be able to crack one of these bottles for you, because I know he's planning to open at least 5 very special wines that are not really available anywhere. Some of his favorites, and tell us about the story behind them. So yeah, September 21st. If you are in BC, anywhere near Oliver, on September 21st.
There's a white spice lingering forever. This is really, really fucking cool. I'm going up to 93 points. I don't care about the price. This bottle is priceless, and it's definitely a 93 points. Wow. Yeah, it's really, really cool. Really cool. And the acid is not dropped. The acid is still bright.
Really nice.
This is a rock star wine. So Daryl, I might reach out to Ted to see if I can get a bottle for our trip to Ontario and see. Yeah.
All right, we'll do our best.
Hi, Mira. I'm loving that little 3 bottles challenge more and more every week. It's really cool. It's really, really cool.
Find some wines without you knowing, though, because you know what's in your cellar. So yeah.
Yeah, but at some point, yeah. But I mean, with out of 350 bottles, like Sprucewood Shore. Now, and you know what? Starting next week, I'm calling Merlot on every Reds. Okay.
Wow, Carl was calling what on every white. What was that white that stumped you one time? It was the shoot, a super rare white. Anyway, it totally stumped Carl. He kept saying it's a Sauv Blanc, and it was not. It was a super rare white.
Oh,
anyway.
fuck! That was the Pinot Meunier, the white Pinot Meunier. White Pinot Meunier. And I told everyone at Black Market that if it was not a Sauvignon Blanc, I will walk home.
And then he had to walk home. It's a very long walk home. But
yeah. I was so freaking convinced. I was about to sell my children. I was so freaking convinced that it was Sauvignon Blanc. Yeah. Pinot Meunier white. Yeah.
Well, It's been fun, guys. I have a chicken I have to take out of the oven in 5 minutes. Thanks so much for stopping by Wine Wednesday. I hope you're enjoying some amazing Canadian wines at home. And guess what? This week, there's something really special we got to mention, right? So thanks to Fred and Margarita from Fred Wines for stopping by and sharing all about their wines. There is, 3 crazy things you need to know about this week. First of all, you can get one of each of the Fred Wines current releases. They have 4 current releases. You can get one of each for $123, including tax. So that's a great deal. They have reduced shipping if you just get the 4 wines. And that's the Bright Side, the Dark Side, the Wild Side, and Primrose. Fantastic wines, all of them. We love them. But there's more. You can get the Bolero 94-point wine, only available here right now. Not going to be sent out till later this fall. They're still labeling it and holding it till it's perfectly ready for you. But there is that Bolero pre-release 94-point wine, phenomenal wine, and you can get it for $45 including tax, which is a heck of a deal. It will be more than that once it's officially
This
released.
wine can be for $70, no problem. This is top-notch, super premium wine with super premium delivery at a $45 price point, including tax. It's absolutely lunatic. It's incredible.
Here's the kicker. Okay. Oh, by the way, this was the Wild Side with our sushi the other night. It was so good. Here's the kicker. Okay. So we did this crazy thing, and I should have asked Margarita to show the glasses because we don't have them here. They're in Niagara. They're going to be showing up at Bellaterra and Fred Wines very soon. But we did a crazy thing. We printed some Carl's Wine Club glasses because we're going to be touring vineyards with members and Thomas Batchelder on August 30th. And we're going to be doing winery touring on the 31st. So those of you who are coming on the 30th, we've got some cool Carl's Wine Club glasses for you. And you can also get them this week with this feature. So let me see if I can get a different picture because this one's not showing up. But you can get 2 Carl's Wine Club tumbler glasses and 2 Fred Wines tumbler glasses. So 4 if you get $300 or more this week with this feature. So here, I'll show you the pictures of them. They're pretty fun. One says Carl's Wine Club Canadian Wine Challenge. There you go. See? And 2 are Fred Wines. So they're great tasting glasses or water glasses, honestly, when you're doing a wine tasting. They're just very handy to have. And they're fun because they got a story behind them. So you can share that with your friends when you're tasting. But yeah,
absolutely.
This week, you get those 4 glasses with your order. And if you're joining us for the Thomas Batchelder Vineyard Tour, you will have one of those Carl's Wine Club ones to take home with you as we stop at the different vineyards. So there you have it. Lots of really great reasons to order Fred Wines this week. We'll send a note about it tomorrow. And in the meantime, I hope you have an amazing night. Hey, Carl?
That was such an amazing show. Thank you very much for everyone for tuning in, supporting what we do, and I just love it. I love you all. This is fantastic. Thanks, Mira, for putting all of that together. Thanks to Fred and Margarita and Canadian wine lovers, Carl's Wine Club members, all of you guys. See you next time.
Yeah. Have a great night.